Hello and welcome to the Health Mastery Podcast. My guest today is TJ Anderson. He is the author of The Art of Health Hacking, a personal guide to elevate your state of health and performance, and the founder of Elevate Your State. TJ, can you introduce yourself in a little bit more details?
You betcha, Daniel. First off, it's an honor to be on the show with you today. I'm excited to jam on all things optimal health hacking. And yeah, that's a great intro. Recent author just finished the book, The Art of Health Hacking. So it is a self-coaching guide for the modern day health conscious consumer, and really empowers people to build their own all-star healthcare team and design a powerful self-care strategy. So that's the overview of the book. I've been writing it for like 4 years, but yeah, I've got an interesting kind of background throughout healthcare and health coaching and behavior change science. So I'm all about
What is your
empowering
story? Can I return you
my
to your
yeah.
childhood and how did you
Oh, you want to
become?
know? You want to go all the way back to childhood? Let's do
Yeah.
that. Well, I'm born and raised in Iowa. For all of you listeners here, if you've never been to Iowa, it is not the potato state. That's Idaho. And so we're smack dab in the Midwest. We have 4 seasons. And, I grew up in a pretty healthy household, decently healthy. I was pretty active and ate decently. But my overall like health consciousness didn't start growing with intention until post-college. So post-college, I really started going down the rabbit hole of health, and I went to school for business finance, and then got involved with a lot of great movements in Iowa and beyond in the health and wellness space. So I got into group fitness coaching. I was an Insanity group fitness instructor, which nearly burn out my body. I
What is
experimented with
exactly
modeling on
this? The sign?
Insanity. Yeah, the
Yeah.
high intensity interval training workout. So I led group fitness exercises for that. I did a lot of health coaching locally in person at YMCA, and then done a lot of but like healthcare consulting. But like my kind of like wake up call for me was noticing the stress that can come from running a business, specifically my parents' lifestyle. And, I saw, so many opportunities for how we can use our health as an asset and not a liability in our work, in our relationships. And so that kind of spawned kind of this 4+ writing excursion of literally going down the rabbit hole of my own health, and coming out the other side of it, doing a lot of healing emotionally, and a lot of hacking, overall, and optimization in the life. So that's a little bit of background on myself.
You told me that you have a lot of routines. What are some of them?
My routines. Oh yeah, sure. So, well, right now you're actually catching me inside of my morning routine. Typically, I wouldn't, I'd give myself my full morning ritual to do my thing. But so this morning, for instance, one of the non-negotiables for me, and like um, something I do pretty much every morning, is get outside and get full spectrum sunlight. So it's not just vitamin D, it's you're receiving full spectrum light from the sun, which the light wavelengths actually change throughout the day. And so morning is, and at the end of the day is almost like the most important time to get sun without sunglasses on your face. And even I'll walk outside with my shirt off and get full body sun. So that's a non-negotiable for me.
I have
As
heard
is
this a lot
operation.
of I have heard this a lot of times. And what is the reasoning behind the full spectrum sunlight during the morning hours?
Great question. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the light. So when you look at the sun, it's not just like this giant ball of light in the sky, right? There's actually different like colors that are in different like sources of light that are coming through that. For instance, look at the rainbow as an example. So when we see a rainbow, we see all these different colors. That represents the power of the sun, what the sun is actually like emitting, and those change throughout the day. And I don't know exactly what time they change. All I know is like from what I've read and understood and how I just feel when I'm receiving the sun, it's a lot easier to receive the sun, um, first thing in the morning versus like at the top of the afternoon. And I believe you have a higher risk of like being sunburnt from, too much UVA or UVB in the middle of the day. I live in Colorado, so we have a plethora of sun all the time. That's the wavelength. It's just the colors. Some of the like red light, for instance, like at the end of the day, it'll come back online. So like red light will lower throughout the middle of the day, and then it'll come back up at the end of the day because it's like the slower source of light, and so we can get healing light from the sun at the end of the day as well. So yeah, I'm not an expert on it, but it's definitely been a powerful one for me to experiment with, and amazing for hormones as well.
Yes, amazing for mitochondria, I guess. And this is the first thing. What else? What
else? Yes. Yeah. I do some just light intentional breath work, nothing too heavy. I used to do a lot of Wim Hof. For me now, the focus is on centering and grounding myself in the morning and doing my own heart rate variability practice. So
what exactly is grounding? What exactly is grounding?
So, well, it depends on if you're talking about like actually physically touching your feet or hands, your whole body to the actual ground. So that's like, you call it earthing or grounding. That's actual physical connection with the earth. Then you can also, like, no matter where you're at, like if you're in your house or your apartment or your office, you can do your own practice to intentionally get into the breath and into your body and energetically like ground yourself where you're at through the breath, through your chakra balancing as woo as we might want to get. And that's the power of just moving energy. And specifically when you connect with the earth, you've got a different sort of like ions that you're connecting with the earth. I mean, how we used to walk as human species is something that's a lost art in our world today. So negative ions for the win. When you actually touch your feet or hands and spend time walking on the earth, that's usually a part of my morning routine as well. And I mentioned some breathing for heart rate variability. Those of you wondering what that is, HRV. HRV stands for heart rate variability, and so maybe a lot of people have heard of that before. So there's a way to actually like track that and measure that. So what is that? I talk about it in my book as it relates to stress. Specifically, HRV is being shown to be connected with HRV is this metric that measures your variability between heart rates. So it's not your simple resting heart rate, but it represents your overall coherence, your ability to have emotional resilience and like heart-centered, like connected breathing through the heart. And that's been a really beautiful practice for me to actually focus on and track. Sometimes I'll use like HeartMath as an example, as a company that makes a great device that attaches your earlobe and that tracks your heart rate and heart rate variability, and it connects to your phone. And so you can actually watch the app, watch your HRV score change, and then change your thoughts and change your breath based on that. So it's a biofeedback mechanism. So that's what I like to do. I don't always use the app. Sometimes I'll just do my own like alternate nostril breathing. So that's
so you're trying to change your heartbeat or something like this?
I'm looking to build more coherence. So typically over the a higher heart rate variability can lead to overall more emotional resilience. You can do HRV training like specific to like your workouts, like getting into like a desired HRV kind of coherence before and during a workout. But my intention is to bring more presence and awareness into my breath and connect it and sync it with my heart and my thoughts. So it's a three-way sort of triangle of connection that builds more emotional resilience and less stress for you. And the best, I love starting off my day with a little bit of a practice like that. So
What emotional resilience basically means? I understand it like it's being in control of your own body, or it's not like this.
well, it depends on definition, right? So control, you could also argue that control is the ultimate paradox. When we think we're in control, like that's the ego wanting to have control of everything. But then there's the other side of things that can say that, oh, it's beneficial to like control your health and take control, from an empowering way. So when it comes to like emotional resilience, for me, how I relate to it is being able to cultivate an internal awareness and connection with myself that is rooted in peace and like sustainability and consistency, and not in fear, not in reactivity, but an ability that allows me to respond throughout the day in a way that has less stress, that has my brain and body grounded in my heart and in my breath, so that I don't get as triggered by other things in my environment that might have caused me more stress otherwise. So it's building more of the capacity to respond to life's daily stressors, if you will.
So
That's one way
basically,
I look
in
at
the
it.
morning, you try to be calm and not stressed, and then in the evening, you start training hard and become more stressed, or
What was that?
in the evening, you start
Oh,
more higher intensity training to become more stressed, or no?
oh, so in terms of my like high intensity training, like to get more like my workouts,
Yes,
or
yes.
just in general? Yeah, no, I think there's timing as far as like work, like elevating the heart rate, and getting a movement session in, and actually training the body, physical exercise. I'll typically do, when I'm called to, and usually I'm called to do that like in the afternoon or early evening. Yeah. But actually, as a side note, I'm actually nursing a broken and sprained ankle. My puppy, who you might have heard barking in the background earlier, was attacked by a pit bull. Yes, that's right, my friends. The harmless, kind little 11-month-old Bernese Mountain Dog. That is my puppy, was attacked by a giant, scary pit bull, and I broke up the fight, broke up the attack, and I busted my ankle in the process. So that was 6 weeks ago. So I haven't been walking, actually. So this is like real time in my own like health hacking experience. Like I've been non-weight bearing for 5 weeks, and I just got the go ahead from my doctor, my ortho, last week to walk again. So I'm just teaching myself how to walk again, actually. And it's been about 29 years since I've taught myself how to walk. So it's fun to tap
I
back into
think
that.
this is actually a really fast recovering cycle for an ankle, or no?
Say that again.
I think this is really fast recovering.
Is it fast? Yeah, I thought my whole summer would be gone. I'm pretty happy about where things are at now, and I've got a good at-home exercise and physical therapy regimen that I'm working on to build strength and stability back to the ankle. Doing a little balancing work, and got some bands to help build more strength. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about my response time, and I was hacking it throughout the experience. So if anyone's ever had like a, broken bone or sprained ankle, don't just, first off, part of my like passion is to really help people, like empower people to like build their own all-star healthcare team. I'm all about like hacking your health on your own and do a lot of that myself. And the next level for us is to source the experts and the leaders that understand how to actually support you with making like more exact progress in certain areas, whether it comes down to like optimizing your blood work, your biochemistry with like a naturopath doctor, or if it's, a personal trainer, or a Pilates instructor, or a physical therapist to actually guide your body through optimal functional movements. Building that team is so important. And so that's what I've been doing. And I've gotten a lot of great guidance from my team in this, but I've also been doing a lot of intentional hacking on my own. So like hot cold contrast therapy, number one. Increased circulation is big part of the goal for the healing process, right? And so I've been doing a lot of like hot cold therapy, like 3 minutes hot in a bathtub, and like 30 seconds of like ice cold, like in a in a cooler filled with like cold water right next to the tub. So been doing a lot of hacks like that to improve performance as I heal.
I have heard this from other people too, that it's like a business. You don't need to just do everything yourself, but you need to outsource some things to the experts. Is this what you're
That's a
thinking?
great way to put it. Of course, yeah. See your health like a business. I'm actually working on a talk right now with I'm doing a presentation in a few days with a company here in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm all about empowering people to like see the connection between their health and their performance, or their health and their business. And one of the big things that I help connect the dots for them on is, look, we're all like like for all the entrepreneurs and like business owners, or just like people working in business in general, like realize the projects. Like if you're listening to this and right now and you're live, or this is the recorded version, and you work in business, you've got your responsibilities, your projects that you're focused on. The truth is, you really can't build a successful business without sourcing and building a great team. Like that's just flat out, like, like, as you said, like you need to do that when it comes to business. And the same thing goes for your health. And that's that connection, that bridge for people usually has a lot of light bulbs for them, but needs to be talked about more and more. Treating your health as an asset in your business, and also as, maybe a separate side business, your health. How can we hack this other separate lifestyle business that is my health? Yeah.
Well, I guess if you improve your health, you're improving your time on this world, so it's pretty valuable business.
Totally. I had a mentor once share with me that we spend most of our life going after more wealth. So we spend most of our health going after our wealth. And then when we're older, we spend most of our wealth trying to get our health back. And that's all ass backwards. And so if we can actually integrate the two together, then it can be a much more sustainable and effective long-term journey, So
And what is the perfect life-work balance, work-life balance?
it's all different depending on who you are and what your goals are. So you have to ask yourself first off, like, what do you want? That's one of the first important questions that, I asked myself, and look to inspire people to ask themselves, is like getting clear on their desires, and their story, their past story, in their life related to their health, is super important. But when it comes to like balance, like, balance might have some value in playing with that word and the meaning behind it in your lifestyle. And I also almost like another word better, and that is harmony. So harmonizing all of the areas of one's life together into one, just as if it was like a song with multiple different singers, and different aspects of our life can be all sung together as one. So really harmonizing our health into our lifestyle and into our business, our work, our relationships is is another different way to look at it. So there's no secret sauce. Like I said, everyone's different. You got to get clear on your desires, and you got to ask yourself, like, what's in your highest and best interests. Start to cultivate a relationship with your body and how it feels, with your heart and how it heals. And I like to say, I have a quote in the book, a full chapter actually, called the circle of, or no, I think it's called Create Clarity. Get real with how you feel. So getting real with how you feel is a powerful opportunity to tap into our own truth within our subjective experience. No matter where we're at in our own lifestyle, no matter what's going on in our day, that question, that opportunity to tap in with that. We have an innate intelligence in our body. If we just get in tune with that and allow ourselves to listen and respond to what it's hearing and what it's receiving from the body, then it allows for a much easier response and easier kind of approach with our lifestyle. So less stress, more ease. That's what I'm all about.
So a lot of people may just want to be happy, or they just want to make more money. What would you tell to them? For example, they don't want to exercise. What would you tell to them?
What would I tell them? So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of my background's in like the health coaching space, like specifically like the art and science related to behavior change. So I've got a fun little quote in the book, and that is, don't should on people unless you like to be should on yourself. So the power of our words can go a long way. And that is our communication with ourselves and others. So with someone that's maybe, not wanting to exercise, like I would. So one of the core questions I ask people often is like, first off, a lot of times the mind likes to focus on what we're not doing and what we're like missing out on, and the negative. It's just ingrained to do that. But the real art is to acknowledge ourselves and to like ask ourselves, like, okay, what's going well for me in my health right now? Like, okay, like this self-improvement movement is great. It can feel progress and we can improve and become better. But like, also check in with like what is real right now, and acknowledge yourself. Like, what is going well? What aspects of my health or lifestyle are actually doing pretty good? Like, and ask yourself that and write it down. Before you get into changing and improving yourself, it can be very important to approve yourself and acknowledge and get clear on what you're already doing now. That's amazing. And that Daniel, that can actually fuel your motivation moving forward. It's literally going to give new energy and a spark for your ability to improve and progress moving forward when you acknowledge yourself for what you're already doing well. So that's first and foremost. Second, asking yourself and others open-ended questions as opposed to closed-ended questions. That's one of my hacks inside of the book. I talk about this power of self-coaching. So communication for behavior change for yourself and others. The types of questions we ask are pretty important. So for instance, like, when are you here's one example. So, do you want to go to the gym today to work out? Like, that's a close-ended question. That's either yes or no, right? And so that's a close-ended question. So an open-ended question is, what does success look like for you in your day to day? Or what areas of your health are you most interested in experimenting with or trying? those are open-ended. It allows the question answer to answer in a way that isn't just a yes or no, but it's more open, it's more expansive, and they can actually create the answer from their own like desire, as opposed to like from scratch, as opposed to like the options that were given to them. It's an open-ended. It's a lot more expansive and open for them to get creative and brainstorm and imagine for themselves like what success looks like, what they're most interested in trying. So that's that kind of communication for open-ended questions versus closed-ended is a very important hack for people to consider.
This was actually really good because I'm new to asking questions and I need to learn this. And for you, TJ, what is success for you?
What is success for me? That's a great question. It depends on like what aspect of my life I'm maybe looking at. But in general, like, success for me looks like having really passionate work that drives me and allows me to be creative and also allow to receive and have that like that abundant flow, that it's not all about doing, but about being who I am and just like surrendering and to what might come on its own and receiving. And so that's kind of like high level integration between the doing and the being. But success looks like for me in my business. I mean, I'm launching this book right now, so I have a book club on this. So my intention is to like impact as many people as possible through this book and this movement. So of empowered health hacking from the heart. I recently just kind of started recording episodes. I'm going to be launching a podcast myself soon. So that's another area that'll be success. Yeah. And so this logo, for those of you watching the video right now, Elevate Your State, is this is my new brand, my new company that is the business beyond around the book. So Elevate Your State exists as a movement for us that inspires us to take our state of health, awareness, and performance to the next level, wherever that is for us. And so, seeing our health as a state of being, not just doing, is kind of the intention behind that. So the Elevate Your State show will be launching pretty soon. So that'll be a good goal for me, a success to
Yes,
build that out.
we will include links to both the book and the website. And do you have some end goal in mind? For example, after 20 years, you want to make this, and this, and to help this much people to change their lives or something?
Yeah, that's a great question. Do I want to help like 1 million people optimize their health and do this or that? Like, that can be a glamorous like marketing kind of tagline. I don't know specifically like where I'll be, 5 years from now. I mean, I have my intention and my focus right now. And so, I mean, specifically, I've been working on some beta groups behind the scenes. So I actually took 3 years off of health coaching while writing this book. So I used to do like health coaching for entrepreneurs and other people, high performers that really want to use their health as an asset. And I took a 3-year break to go down the rabbit hole of my own health. And so now that the book is done, I've been doing some beta groups, some taking people through, my process, the game plan to optimize health holistically and build their own all-star healthcare team. So I've got another. I'll be running every quarter like a new kind of group health mastermind. So that's been a fun new project I've been enjoying. Is getting back into high performance health coaching and building a community around this through a little like six week mastermind. So called the Health Hacker Mastermind, and it's a holistic deep dive into using your health as an asset and boosting energy and all those good, yummy things when it comes to improved health. Yeah. Yeah, man. And if you're wondering, I got a light right on me right here. I talked about the sun earlier. Like people that are watching the video might be wondering, like, oh, what is this? Why does this guy look so red on the screen? The truth is, I've got a bright, shiny, near infrared light right here attached to my standing desk that I'll use when I work. And so I need to try Iris. I want to try Iris, your amazing product, which I've heard great things about. And as far as, protecting my eyes and my skin from the artificial blue light, harmful blue light from my devices. And I also am not just like avoiding the bad light, but like focusing on receiving the good. So this is a full spectrum mimicking the sunlight, near infrared incandescent bulb. So I've got this shining on my face right now, and that's why I look so red.
And this stimulates tissue growth, right? And this
What'd you say?
stimulates more health. It
Stimulates
the
mitochondria production. Yeah, and just feels good, gives you great energy, and it's a we use it mostly at night. I'll use it sometimes during the day, but like at night when we want some source of light indoors, we'll use some candles, but the rest of our lights in our place are off. We'll use this red light and candles, my girlfriend and I. So yeah.
This was actually my question, when do you use the light, but you already answered it. So my next question is, how to write a successful book?
Ooh, how to write a successful book? What? I guess that suggests that, you believe that, I wrote a successful book. I take it, which I haven't. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, I feel like this was a success.
Well, it's written. It looks good. It has an awesome website. It's on Amazon. People are buying
it. It's on Amazon. It's real. Yeah, it looks pretty. Yeah, it's not just. It's more than the glamour, my friends. It might be a pretty cover and a good title, but the content's where it's at. So feedback is what I would love the most from people that are interested in reading the book. If they do grab a copy, which healthhackerbook.com is where it's at. I think you had mentioned earlier. Please tell me if you think it's a good book or not. There's 15 chapters that take a holistic, integrative approach towards building your own all-star healthcare team and self-care strategy, exploring lots of different areas, from advanced blood testing and genetic testing to like self-compassion and communication for behavior change. So it's unique. So I'm glad to hear that you think it's a success. So back to your question. How did I do it? How can others consider writing a successful book? I would say one of the most important things to focus on, I mentioned this at a book signing I had back in my hometown the other week. And that is, get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, why you're wanting to write a book. Like that will fuel your motivation and give you direction and clarity around your purpose. And so for me, my why was personally, like it was number one, for my own purpose, my own personal benefit of healing and getting some of these stories off my chest and like creating this for my own self. Because it felt like it was in my dharma, it was my mission to do this and to actually make an impact on others, to actually provide a tool that, sends people down a quest in their own health in a way that they feel so empowered and activated in their own health more than they ever have before. And in a way that's not always focused on improving, but also, as I said earlier, approving. So really that intersection between those two. So getting clear on that. So for me, it was like about a 50-50 between like, I wanted this for myself and my own healing and growth. And then I wanted to make an impact on others. So that's kind of the bedrock, I would say, is like, why are you doing this? And it can be, if you really want to write a successful book, again, success is in like whose eyes, like you are the only one that can define success for what you want to create. Don't be subjected to other people's definitions of success. But yeah, allow yourself to ask what success would look like. And then don't force yourself to finish it in a certain amount of time. Like I said, this took over 3 years to write and almost another year to edit.
Year to edit.
What's that?
How is the process? Do you have some routine for
Oh,
writing and for editing, or?
there's lots of different programs where you can like buy a training to teach you how to write a book these days. And I didn't go through any of those. I had a few friends that were in the self-publishing space, teaching people how to write a book and market it and become a bestseller and all that, which is great. I did a big Amazon launch for the ebook. And they helped me with like a mind mapping. So mind mapping the vision for the book with like, yes, kind of an outline. The mind map it'll result in the outline eventually. But have people, I would suggest people research the power of mind mapping for getting all your thoughts on a paper and different both stories and like principles that you want to teach and discuss. So mind mapping can be very, very key early on. And just, I would also say like write when you're inspired. Write when you're inspired. And you don't always have to write it. You can record audio as well. If I'm ever going to write another book, which I don't know that I am, if I do, I'll probably record a fair amount with this here microphone because I literally experienced like physical pain in my hands and arms while writing this book because of I did a lot of handwriting, like journaling, and a lot of typing. And it was while I was like traveling through like California and like nomading, through LA and San Diego. So probably didn't have the best posture the whole time and best form, but just in general, like too much time on a computer is just no bueno. And so, you can play around with recording audio for a book as well to get your thoughts out there. I would encourage people to play around with that as well. Yeah.
If you have to pick one thing, and this thing to be the most important thing for health, what would it be?
Most important thing for health? Man. I mean, a deep connection with yourself and others. At the end of the day, like, I hacked my health. So yes, I can spend more time on this earth, but also because I can have more quality time, more importantly. And that quality of time allows me to experience life with others in a way that is just so abundant, so beautiful, and feels great. And so really connecting with yourself, doing your own self-coaching and going deep down your relationship with yourself, like whether that's like eye gazing with yourself in a mirror or journaling with yourself and like writing a letter to yourself, which is an exercise that I recommend people try out inside of my book. That's in chapter 2, I think, around self-compassion. And then building and cultivating like intentional loving relationships with people you really care about in your life. So that can go a really long way. At the end of the day, if you look up the research and the studies about like the people that are living the longest life, the centenarians, like quality relationships is by far like one of the top areas that they all have in common. So yes, have fun hacking with and experimenting with all these different new health hacks and food, supplements, technology, modalities, therapies, etc. But at the end of the day, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others is going to be the bedrock of all of that. It's going to be the foundation that allows you to show up in the world and in a way that's filled with love and joy and passion and so that's my 2 cents.
Super awesome. And for you, exercise or nutrition is more important? Or it's actually the relationships?
Yeah. All right. Well, I got a quote for people on this one. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Nutrition is to exercise as Batman is to Robin. I will repeat that. Nutrition is to exercise as Batman is to Robin. Both are important, but at the end of the day, Batman's taking the cake. So nutrition,
So nutrition is taking the cake.
yeah, nutrition's taking the cake. Yeah, much pun intended. A paleo, low sugar cake, that is, gluten free. Yeah, yeah. Would you agree?
Yes, but I'm a programmer. My health, I go every day to the gym. I eat probably
Yeah,
healthy. I'm healthy.
yeah,
So yeah, I agree. Maybe
yeah,
I do everything basically. I try to
yeah,
do both things. What is the health hacker formula you mentioned before we started
yeah.
talking?
The health hacker formula. Yes. So I mentioned my background and passion around behavior change, sustainable behavior change. So I've got this process that I call it's a 3-step process called the health hacker formula. So what is the health hacker formula? This is the formula to, number one, um, create uh, create the state you desire on command in your days. So on a daily basis to actually build sustainable optimal health behavior change. This process, 3 steps, is activate, elevate, and integrate. Activate, elevate, and integrate. Activate is step 1. It is the start of the process where you are activating your motivation, your desire, your intention, getting clear on that. It's kind of warming up the inventory, warming up the engine, if you will. So you're taking inventory and you're journaling, you're brainstorming, you might be taking a little bit of action around what your desire is in the moment or in that week or day. Okay. Step 2 is elevate. So step 2 is actually the act and the practice of doing the behavior. It's making the decision to actually take action and to do it. So elevate, and that is the next step in the process. And then after elevate is integrate. So after you've done the particular behavior and actually experimented and tried it, the next step is integrate. And so integrate is really, this is the step, when we get excited to take action in different areas of our health. When I get excited, when I say we, as in like the collective of humankind, mankind, when we take action, the step we forget about often is that reflection step. That after it's happened, like, what was that experience like? And so integrate is the last step in the process of self-experimentation for optimal health behavior change, because it's a chance for you to reflect on your experience. So ask yourself, what was it like? What did you learn from that experience? What did you notice from that experience? And so activate, elevate, and integrate. Those 3 steps, yes, they all rhyme, but they also make sense, and they can be applied easily and effectively to our day. And I've actually got, maybe I can provide I've got a free giveaway that I can maybe share with you in the show links here, related to the health hacker formula and how you can actually apply that in your own day. But it works in your daily routine and also over a stage of your life. So let's say like 3 months. Month 1 can be activate, month 2 can be elevate, and month 3 can be integrate. And it allows for this flow of like for the process to really build. So it's starting and it's building, and then it's coming down. It's like a story arc, it's just like a mountain, So it's that 3-step process is the health hacker formula. Activate,
Is it
elevate.
something like building a habit formula?
Right. Exactly. But it is, but it's less about all, like, we focus on creating new habits like so often, which is great. It can be helpful. And what we forget about is, like, we're in it so much that we forget to zoom out and look at everything that's going on before, during, and after. And so that's what this formula allows you to do. And that allows for more effective, sustainable habit building, more effective, sustainable behavior change. because it'll keep you honest and allow you to like have action like that you brainstorm based on your intention and desires, and then you do it, and then you reflect, and it's as simple as that. So try it out.
It's like in business using analytics and measuring what converts and what works and what not.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, man. So the health hacker formula, it's pretty I think it's pretty simple, but it can be really powerful if used right. I also have a fun little which I mentioned in the book, this process called habit stacking. Habit stacking. So stacking certain habits on top of each other within like a short time period to help you create the state you desire on command. So, for instance, let's say you wanted to create the state of like peace and calm towards the end of your day. You're winding down, you might be, getting closer to bedtime. And so what are all the different hacks that you could apply to you in your environment that can help create that state of calm and relaxation? And then habit stacking allows you to pick and choose which of these actual habits that you can act on and do them all in a row instead of just doing like one. Let's say putting relaxing music on is one example, right?
Yeah.
So you could do just relaxing music, and that might help a little bit. But if you do relaxing music and have an Epsom salt bath and have some a lavender like tea or like a reishi mushroom drink to calm your nervous system down, like you can tap into multiple different like ways, different habits, different activities to optimize what you put in your body and in your environment to help you create the state you desire on command. It's really powerful. And it makes it easier to create that state. And which, if the more easier we can make something, the less stress that comes with that. And the more likely you're going to be successful with that. Now, with that being said, I'm not all about throwing the kitchen sink on whenever I want calm and take 40 different things. I'm also about minimizing the variables. So it's important to kind of like maybe start with just like one or two different hacks to create that state. And then over time, you can, play with different ones and try out and add more as you go. So that's the example of habit stacking that kind of plays a role with the health hacker formula. Yeah.
Do you believe in the secret?
Do I believe in the secret?
Yes.
As in,
I mean,
what do you,
for example,
go like the
Napoleon
law of
Hill.
attraction.
Yes, law of attraction.
Yeah, I do.
Your thoughts make your reality.
I think they can. It depends on your relationship with your thoughts and the relationship with your reality. They can definitely play a very big role. Yes. Yeah. Do you?
Well, I believe in hard work and doing everything you can to change your current situation and make yourself better.
Yeah, there's a role for both. That's for sure.
Can you tell me how to make the mushroom tonic?
Oh, the mushroom tonic. Yes. So Daniel's referring to this drink I've been sipping on here this morning. So first off, a reminder for people, if you're watching this video, I am forcing my mug, the words on the mug, to be read on the screen by you. Too blessed to be stressed, number one, is my favorite mug to use. And inside this mug this morning, I had a mushroom tonic. And so, okay, so what's a mushroom tonic? I'm taking a caffeine break today, and I have been the last few days. So I'm like 3 days in to give myself a break from a quick source of energy and the stimulant that caffeine can be. Kind of recalibrating energy, so to speak, to minimize the things I'm dependent on. So in this case, I'm making a mushroom tonic that replaces, say, maybe like a coffee or like a tea, like a matcha tea, or like a nootropic supplement that has caffeine in it. And this mushroom tonic has great energizing mushrooms that are also like really healthy and great for you. So lion's mane. So first off, there's lots of ways to make tonic. So a tonic can be either hot or cold. And in this instance, this is a hot one. And so I blended up healthy fats, so a little bit of coconut oil and a little bit of grass-fed butter into my Vitamix with hot water, hot spring water, and sprinkled some sea salt in there. And then I used and poured in 3 different mushroom packets this morning, actually. So lion's mane is number one. Lion's mane is a great mushroom for overall mental health, brain health, and can actually give you focus, and can be like one of my top hacks for people to try when they're wanting to wean off of caffeine is lion's mane. It's also amazing for the nervous system as well. So big fan of lion's mane. And the other one is cordyceps. Cordyceps is another great mushroom that's awesome for lung health and for physical energy. So I'll have cordyceps often like in the morning sometimes or right before a workout. And then the other one I had in there was chaga. So chaga is like the king of the mushroom family, and it is only really wild. You can't really like farm it yourself. You have to forage it mostly, and it's the king of all mushrooms, and it's amazing for the immune system. So chaga, lion's mane, and cordyceps are these 3 mushrooms I put in, and today they were from one of my favorite companies in the mushroom space, which is Four Sigmatic. So I'm a big fan of Four Sigmatic. Buddies with the team over there, the team of Finnish from Finland. They're all mostly from Finland over there. So yeah, shout out to those guys, Taro and the whole team over there. Love what they're doing. So Four Sigmatic is one of my sources for getting high quality mushrooms. So this is a powder that I literally pour in my hot tonic, blend it up. I put a little bit of like a clean little peppermint extract, I think, this morning to give it a different flavor, and maybe a little bit of xylitol for extra sweeten, and yeah, blended it up, and it's pretty tasty and great source of energy, awesome for the health, and a good source to wean off of caffeine if you want. So mushroom coffee or mushroom tonics for the win.
We are going to put links in the descriptions after this for the mushrooms, and I would be really happy if you introduce me to the guys behind this company. I would love
You
to
bet.
invite them to the podcast. And now I'm not going to ask you any more questions, and I'm giving you 1 minute to make some closing statement about something.
Closing.
Yes, about something. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Yeah. So closing statement would be that, find more ways to have fun in life, get outside, and slow down your breath in your body, and allow yourself to take a break and take a breath when you're called to. And this journey of health that we're all on is a journey that's not about being perfect. It's not about being scientific and quantitative all the time. We can invite a little bit more art and a little bit more heart into the world that we experience, that we live, and that we get to create. We get to create this reality and what we desire and what our body requires. So taking a break and taking a breath and enjoying the process along the way can make it a very, very bright, sunny, happy, and healthy day. So that is my 2 cents for everyone. And I'm excited to stay in touch with your community. And like, if they want to get some books, like I would love that. Like, I'd love to have some of your community that's using your Iris app too, that to play around with what and read the concepts in the book and start to take action a little bit and do a lot of reflection in their own life. So yeah, I'm excited about the work you're doing, Daniel. It's been an honor to be on the show with you, and onward and upward.
Super awesome, super awesome. I'm going to put into the live streams one by one right now. So you need to hold still for a couple of seconds.